Hi, I'm Tonya Wilson, Certified Business Advisor with the Ohio Small Business Development Center at Columbus State Community College. Today, my hope is to assist you in navigating the SBA Economic Injury Disaster Loan application and share the most current information we have available regarding the additional loan programs created with the presidential signing of the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, also known as the CARES Act. Today I'm going to walk you through the new streamlined disaster loan application launched last week. But before we get started, I want to review the details of the disaster loan and the emergency loan advance for anyone who still needs this information. The Economic Injury Disaster Loan, also known as the EIDL, provides working capital for small businesses injury related to coronavirus, so small business injuries related to the coronavirus. This loan, this working capital, cannot be used to start businesses, expand businesses, or pay old debts. It's primarily used to keep the business in business, so to keep you operating during this challenging time. Working capital can be used for fixed debts, payroll, accounts payable, and other bills that can't be paid because of the disaster's impact. Let's look at terms for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. To qualify for this loan, you must be a small business, which is typically under 500 employees. You can be a sole proprietor, independent contractor, self-employed person, have a private nonprofit, or be a 501c19 veteran organization. For certain industries, you can go above 500 employees, and certain industries are actually determined to be a small business by their annual average receipts. So if you are not sure if you are qualify as a small business owner based on your industry, you can go to the link identified in the second bullet, and it is a tool that will guide you through the process and help you determine whether or not you qualify as a small business. So that's the first step in the terms for qualifying for the EIDL. Next, these loans are up to $2 million. There is a 3.75% interest rate for small businesses, 2.75% interest rate for private nonprofits, and the terms go up to 30 years. That is determined on a case-by-case basis based on the amount that you are borrowing and also based on each borrower's ability to repay. There is an 11th month payment deferment, which means that your first payment won't be due until approximately a year after your loan is finalized and approved. For the disaster loan advance that was made available with the CARES Act, this is up to $10,000. This $10,000 or up to $10,000 does not need to be repaid. So you will request that on the new application. Here in the red bullet point, you must apply using the current EIDL application to receive this $10,000 advance. If you had applied previously prior to this streamlined application becoming available, so basically prior to March 31st, you will need to reapply again and actually click the box where you are requesting the $10,000 advance, and we'll see what that box is shortly as we move through the application. Funds will be dispersed, the $10,000 advance funds will be dispersed within days after the submission of a successful application. Okay, let's take a look at the loan application itself. The website address to find the application is located right here above the image on the screen. Hopefully you can see my mouse. It is covid19relief.sba.gov/pound/. That will take you to this first page of the application. Here on the first page of the application, you'll see it gives you a little bit of information about what the streamlined process is and what the requirements are. If you look at the bullets, it will advance as you move through the application. Each section will advance you through these little icons here. There are 4 pages to the application, and the 5th page is your summary page. This is a very easy, straightforward application. This information here under the requirements does state that this will take you about 2 hours and 10 minutes to complete the application. If you have all your information available, so if you know what your gross receipts are and the other items that we'll talk about, I believe you can easily complete this application in about 20 to 30 minutes. So don't let that 2 hours and 10 minute quote there scare you. On the first page of the application, the first thing you'll need to do is establish your eligibility, and you'll verify that. So what you're going to do is you'll need to select one of these icons, that you're either a business with more than 500 employees, that you are a sole proprietor, you are a cooperative with not more than 500 employees, etc. There is the link I mentioned earlier here. If you're agricultural cooperative, an aquaculture enterprise, and if you need to know if you fit those size standards, you can you'll be able to just click that link in when you're on the application and go directly to that web page and determine that. But you will go through and select one of these items, and then you'll move to the next section. In this next section, you'll need to review and check all of the following. If you are not able to check all of the following of these boxes, then you do not qualify for the EIDL loan. So you will need to make sure that you are able to check. Some of the items are the applicant is not engaged in illegal activity by the federal guidelines, that you're not an agriculture enterprise in terms of a farm. The farms are not covered under here. But you'll need to go through each of these items, make sure that you're able to check those, actually check all of them as you move through, and then click the continue to move to the second page of the application. Here on the second page of the application, it is going to ask you for your business information, and so here you will enter your legal name, trade name, your EIN, so your employer identification number, or your social security number if you're a sole proprietorship, and then your organizational type. Under your organizational type, there's a drop-down menu on the on the right-hand side, and so you'll click that drop-down menu and select what type of entity you are from the list. As you enter each section, you'll notice that the red bar that was there on the side will change to green, showing that you have satisfactorily entered the information for that tab. And so the red bars, well, as you move through the application, all the red bars on the left-hand side of the information fields and the little red asterisk beside the title of the information fields show where all the required information is. All that required information must be complete to advance through the application. Continuing down this page of the application, you will select whether or not you are a nonprofit organization or an applicant as a franchise. And then you are also here indicating required by the red bar on the left-hand side. You will enter your gross revenues for the previous 12 months prior to January 31st, as well as your cost of goods sold. This information has been a little bit confusing to individuals as they move through here. We've heard that there's been some confusion. So here it is just asking you to identify whether or not you are a nonprofit or franchise. Then it goes back to asking you for your gross revenues and your cost of goods sold for your business in particular. Information here in the next 6 fields is not required to be answered. They're indicated by no red bar. And so you do not need to answer these next 6 unless they apply to you. And so unless you have rental properties, you are a nonprofit, and what your revenue would be for there. If you are providing, if you are a faith-based entity, and you are providing secular social services, what those would be. And then if you have any compensation, if received any compensation from other sources based on as a result of the disaster. If you do not have any of those, you can leave those blank. Continuing on, you would need to provide your business location information, so your primary address, and as well as contact information. And then at the bottom, there are 2 more fields that ask you for the date your business was established, and if you had purchased the business for someone else, the date the current ownership took place. The final section of this page of the application asks for your business activity, so what exactly you do in your business, and to detail what that activity is. There are drop-down fields This is a drop-down field, and so if you look to the right of that field, you'll see the little down arrow, and so you'll click down on that arrow to get your selections. In that business activity, this is the majority of the selections that you have available. If you look to the right-hand side of this box, you'll see that there's a little bit more space where you can scroll down and find some other options if you don't see yourself in your particular activity that you do located in this list. For purposes of this example, I chose food and beverage stores for this. Once I made that selection on food and beverage stores, if you go to the next box and ask you for detailed business activity, and this is well, you'll choose the exactly what you do. So for the food and beverage stores that I selected, then I would select here as to whether or not I'm a bakery or a convenience and variety store, if I do deli, meat and seafood, a grocery store, or a liquor store, or other. The final field on this page will ask you for how many number of employees that you have, and then you will click next. The third page of the application goes over your business owner information, so your personal information about you as the business owner. And so it starts out asking, of course, for your name, so your first name and your last name. The requested information continues by asking for your cell phone number, and also ask for a title. There is a drop-down menu again on your right-hand side, which provides several title options for you to choose from. Next, you'll be requested for your percent of ownership. And so if you are the only person, the only owner of your company, then that percent would be 100. If you are in a partnership, then you would want to list your particular percentage of ownership here. And other partners will look at those in a second. Then you'll also, of course, provide your email, social security number, birth date, and place of birth, and whether or not you are a U.S. citizen. You'll finish out your information, your residential street and location information on this section, and then at the bottom you'll have a choice to add an additional owner where you could enter their information or click next to move on. Okay, we are now at the last page of the application, and this is going to continue asking you a few questions to determine your eligibility to apply for the EIDL. And the first three questions it's going to ask is to identify if you've been convicted of a criminal offense. Second question is that if there is any owners that are suspended or debarred from federal government or receiving grants or loans, from contracting with the federal government, receiving grants and loans, excuse me. And the third one is that if you are currently going under any criminal proceedings, and so if you've been subject to an indictment, arraignment, or by other means of which formal charges have been brought, have you been arrested in the past 6 months? And for any criminal offense other than a minor vehicle violation, have you been convicted, pled guilty, been placed on diversion, or placed for any form of parole? And so you'll need to answer those questions before moving forward. Next, if anyone has assisted you in applying for the EIDL, you'll want to list their contact information here in the blue section of the application. And just below that, if you are interested in receiving the advance of up to $10,000, you must click this box to be considered. If you do not click that box, you will not be considered for the $10,000 advance. Once you've decided on the advance, the next thing you'll do is give them the information as to where that you can send the funds. So here you will enter your bank name. Next, you will provide your account number and your bank's routing number. Lastly, you will click the box at the bottom that says that you hereby certify under penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States that the above is true and correct. Please read this information here. Be sure to read this information. What it is doing is providing where you are providing authorization to the SBA to obtain information they need from the insurance company, bank, financial institutions, and your other creditors to process this loan. It also provides information regarding pursuant to the Privacy Act on how your information will be shared. There is also a blue link at the bottom that provides for additional statements required by the laws and executive orders if you would want more information. Once you have clicked that box and you have certified that everything provided in this application is true and correct, you can click Next and you'll move on to the summary page. This is a small version of the complete summary page. What you will want to do is review all of this information and make sure everything is correct. If you go through a section and determine that something is wrong or there's something that you would like to change, in the upper right hand corner of that section is a little icon that says Edit. Click that Edit button and it will allow you to go back to that section and update the information. Once everything is updated and you agree that everything is correct, click the box in the lower left hand corner that says I am not a robot and click Submit. This application is, as we move through this, as just an example, so this application was not officially submitted. Therefore, I don't have the final confirmation page for you. You will receive a final confirmation page and a application number on that page that you will want to save, showing that your application was submitted. Okay, that concludes the information on the EIDL. Finally, I'd like to talk about the Paycheck Protection Program. The Paycheck Protection Program was established in the CARES Act, and it is a loan designed to provide a direct incentive for small businesses to keep their workers on the payroll. SBA will forgive loans if all employees are kept on the payroll for 8 weeks and the money is used for payroll, rent, mortgage interest, and utilities. To apply, you'll need to apply through your local banker, but they must be an SBA approved lender. If you are unsure if your bank is an SBA approved lender, you can visit the website in the first bullet point and it will give you a listing of all SBA approved lenders. Applications must be submitted through June 30th of 2020. There is a 100% guarantee for the lender on this loan, so that provides the lender with security in issuing these loans. The full amount, as mentioned, of the loan may qualify for loan forgiveness. 75% of the loan must be used for payroll, and 25% of that loan can be used for the rent, mortgage interest, and utilities. Businesses must still qualify as a small business owner, as I explained for the EIDL, and you must have been in operation with employees whom you paid salaries and payroll taxes prior to February 15th. The Paycheck Protection Program is also for sole proprietors. Sole proprietors, independent contractors, and self-employed individuals are also eligible to apply. The loans are based on company's payroll up to $10,000. Interest rate is 1%. This is a 2-year term with a 6-month deferment. However, interest does incur during that 6-month time. There's no collateral or person guarantees required and no SBA or lender fees. I hope the information that I provided to you here today was helpful, and if you have any questions and would like to speak with an advisor, please reach out to us at our website at sbdccolumbus.com. You can email us at sbdc@cscc.edu or call us at 614-287-5294. Thank you for your time and have a great day.